As your Rangers return home, they face another challenge in their playoff push. The Tampa Bay Rays are one of the teams in front of them in a very tight American League wildcard race. The Rangers hope to build on their last homestand success as Martin Perez gets the start in Game 1. Texas and Tampa Bay meet next on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T UVerse TV. Well, it is a gorgeous night out here at Globe Life Park. It is Star Wars weekend. The Imperial Stormtroopers are in attendance. The Rangers and the Jedi Knights going out this evening to face Darth Vader and the Tampa Bay Rays. Yoda taking over the PA booth. Chuck Morgan standing by in case he has need for assistance, but the Rangers and the Tampa Bay Rays hooked up as part of that wild card race, and it is a close one. Rays just 2 games behind the Angels for that second spot. Rangers down there 3.5 back, so this is a very meaningful weekend series with the Rangers and the Tampa Bay Rays. And welcome in, everyone, along with Mark McLemore, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us. And it is Star Wars weekend, so the Rangers looking for the force against the Rays. Interesting pitching matchup tonight. It'll be Nathan Carnes, a local boy, going for the Rays, and Martin Perez for the Rangers.
It will be. It should be a very good matchup. Nathan Carnes, one of the best young rookie pitchers in in Major League Baseball, period. He's leading all Major League rookies with 121 strikeouts and a 234 batting average for opponents, and he's done a tremendous job. Had a great game against the Rangers. Beat us the last time he faced us. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits and only 2 earned runs, and the 2 earned runs, he's done that 16 of his 20 starts, so a very good young pitcher. And then we have one, Martin Perez, another young pitcher, one of the best ones, in my opinion, in the game as well. He's throwing well, 6-0 in August, his career, a 272 batting average, so I'm looking for a very, very good game tonight.
Martin Perez trying to figure out which Jedi mind trick he's going to use on the Rays tonight. So get your lightsabers out. It's Star Wars time over the weekend. The Rangers and the Tampa Bay Rays coming up for you. We'll have the starting lineups in the first pitch right after this. you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer to kick off the summer right. Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T UVerse TV. UVerse has more live TV channels on the go than cable. By Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Well, a gorgeous evening here at Globe Life Park. Rangers and Rays getting set to kick off the first game of this three-game set before we get things started. Let's head down to the field and check in with our very own Princess Leia, Emily Jones.
Well, this is the one and only visit for the Tampa Bay Rays here to Globe Life Park in Arlington this season. The Rays, of course, one of the teams that the Rangers are chasing in the wild card race. And here's what Jeff Bannister is expecting from this Tampa team.
They pitch it very well. This is a group of pitchers that they come right at you. They've got stuff. They make it hard on you. And so you can't any run scoring opportunities, you got to be able to play small ball against them. They don't give up a whole lot of home runs, but the one thing we need to do is make sure that we stay stubborn with our approach. This is one group of guys that we've got to make sure that we do that so that we can capitalize on our scoring opportunities.
So the Rangers looking to build on that momentum that they accumulated during the last homestand, the one in which they went 7-3 and won 7 of their last 8 games. Hopefully the force will be with them tonight. I couldn't help myself, guys.
It's okay. I'm right there with everybody. Nice going. Well, the Rays coming to bat, and here's Mark to tell you about the Rays lineup tonight.
All right, leading off for the Rays will be Brendan Guyer. Richie Schaefer is the DH. He'll bat second. Evan Longoria has been hitting .333 versus left-handers this year. He'll bat third and play third. Logan Forsythe will bat fourth, play first base. The shortstop is Asdrubal Cabrera. He's got 8 out of his last 9 games have been multi-hit games, and he's hitting .480 in the month of August. Batting fifth will be left fielder Desmond Jennings. Tim Beckham's the second baseman. He'll bat seventh. Kevin Kiermaier is batting eighth. He's got 8 RBIs in his last 10 games. And Kurt Caselli will bat ninth and do the catching.
And Martin Perez goes to work on Brandon Guyer, misses with the first pitch. And Martin back to the plate. A chopper on one hop to Adrian Beltre. One gone. And we'll take a look at our progressive scouting report now for Martin Perez tonight, 1 and 2, but don't let that fool you. He has been very, very good his last 2 times out. He has been aggressive in the strike zone, and that's something he figured out before his start two outings ago against the Giants. He said, I have to be more on top of things, and he went out and has done it very, very well. He made the right adjustment for him, and now he just needs to build on what he's been able to do the last 2 times that he's taken the hill. Richie Schaefer, the designated hitter, takes strike one. Schaefer just called up a couple of days ago for the Rays, a .333 average in the early going. He has 2 home runs, 2 RBI. He is combined to have 25 home runs between the minors and his major league stint this year. This young man, excellent pop. You can tell he's not afraid to let that swing go. He's got a big, hard swing, and Martin Perez taking something off the fastball.
That was probably a good thing because he looks like he's got some sock in that swing.
High and outside, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Martin, the 24-year-old, coming back from the Tommy John surgery that he had a year ago, May, and he has made it all the way back. The way he's throwing the ball now, and it's just a matter of getting back into the competitive mindset that he had so well developed at an early age, and he's able to shake that rust off pretty quickly. He looks like he's settled back in now to be a very, very competent major league pitcher. Payoff pitch up the middle. Elvis almost gets run into by Odor, and they avoid a collision, and Elvis ends up throwing out Schaefer. Now that is pretty good concentration by Elvis Andrus.
Very good concentration by Elvis, and not a very smart play by Odor. You got to know where that shortstop is. You tell one another where you're going to be. If the ball's hit up the middle, second baseman say, I'm going in front, shortstop's coming behind. So you get that communication straight before every batter so you know. But Elvis shows great concentration, stays with it. Throws a strike over to Mitch for the out. That's probably going to be a fine.
Adrian Beltre has given them both really a hard time from third base. I know you can't. I know you're surprised about that.
Yeah, that's just such a shocker.
Yeah, Adrian talking to Elvis and Rubnet. That was almost disaster. Yeah, Beltre saying, "Can't you guys get it together over there? What's wrong with you guys? Come on."
Don't you know he's right there?
Or something to that effect. Yeah. 2-0 the count to Longoria. Yeah, there's another one off the end of the bat. And Martin Perez with 3 ground balls, 3 quick outs in the first inning. An 11-pitch first. Ball the Ranger left-handed. 3 up, 3 down. Half an inning in the books. No score in Arlington. Rays out in order in the top of the first. Now the Rangers come to bat. Matt's going to tell you about the Southwest Carolina.
All right, Delino DeShields will lead off and play center field. Shin-Soo Choo will bat second and play right. Prince Fielder's got a 5-game hitting streak. He's got his average up to 327. He'll bat third and DH. Adrian Beltre bat cleanup and play third. Mitch Borland's at first, batting fifth. Josh Hamilton's back in the lineup after missing 2 games with knee soreness. He'll bat sixth and play left. Elvis is at short, batting seventh. Rougned Odor had a great road trip at 348, a couple of RBIs. He'll bat eighth and play second. Doing the catching, Bobby Wilson.
And Jeff Bannister putting that lineup out tonight against the 27-year-old right-hander. That is Nathan Carnes from Arlington. Went to Arlington Martin High School. Our scouting report on him shows a fastball, very good curveball, and a changeup. Changeup is a work in progress. Rangers will try to lay off that curveball down and out of the strike zone. If they can do that, or get hit by a fastball, either one, as Delino DeShields just did. But if they can lay off that curveball of Carnes that he throws down out of the strike zone a lot, they'll get his pitch count up rather quickly and have a chance to get him out of the ballgame early. If you start swinging at that thing in the dirt, it's going to be a short night for you.
Yeah, that can be a problem. You want to try and get a pitcher to throw as many pitches as possible, especially early. You want to get that starting pitcher out of there and get into that bullpen. That's your goal every night.
Delino DeShields doing what he did so well since he moved into the leadoff spot about 2 months ago. That's get on base. He's on the move on the first pitch. The throw is late, and Delino DeShields in with a stolen base right off the bat. That's turning a hit by pitch into a double real quick.
One pitch. Got a runner on second. He didn't swing the bat yet.
19th stolen base for Delino.
He's got 19 bags. You look at that, and he's just, didn't really start getting that consistent playing time until May. So 19 stolen bases, that's a lot.
As a matter of fact, he moved into the leadoff spot when Leonys Martin got hurt right before the Rangers went to Tampa Bay for that series in early May. And boy, that you look back to there, Mac, and I know you and I were doing that series. that was really a turning point for the Rangers because it set up a different lineup than they had, a different look lineup than they'd had prior to that.
Yeah, it really did. And I think, Delino being in that lineup and just getting on base, being that leadoff hitter, helps the rest of the ball club, especially the big guys behind him, because now he's on base. He's set the table for them to drive in runs and get better pitches. When you've got a base stealer on the bases, pitchers will tend to throw a fastball to try and get to home plate quicker,
right,
so that base stealer doesn't steal a base like DeShields just did. So I think, Delino being able to get on base consistently really turned this ball club around.
3-0 the count to Shin-Soo Choo. And Nathan Karns able to get a strike in there. It's 3-1. Choo, second hottest hitter on the Ranger club since the All-Star break. He is just a little bit behind Rougned Odor, but Choo, that average now up to 241 for the year. And he takes outside. Oh, he hit batter and a walk. Put two aboard with nobody out. And Prince Fielder coming up. We'll take a look at the rest of the Rays defense behind Nathan Karns tonight. Outfield adjusted with Jennings in there. Geyer is in right, Kiermaier in center. No errors for Brandon Geyer in his last 126 total chances. Infield of Forsythe, Beckham, Cabrera, and Longoria. It's a good infield. Casale behind the plate. Kevin Cash, the first-year manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. Here's Prince, who takes inside for ball one. And now Casale's going to go out and have a little chat with Nathan Karns. And Nathan Karns, for the first time as a professional, pitching in front of his family and friends. We mentioned he grew up here in Arlington, and he had not made a trip into Arlington as a visiting player. Had not played in front of them since college. And so he's both excited and overly amped, I guess would be it right now.
Yeah, it's tough for pitchers or players, period, to come in and play in your hometown. I know his ticket list is very large.
Yeah.
You've got family, you've got friends, you've got coaches that coached you in Little League and select ball and everywhere else that want to come and see you, play, pitch at the big league level,
sure,
or play at the big league level. So you want to do well, and a lot of times a player, especially a younger player, is going to go out there very, very amped.
Jim Hickey out there to try and slow things down a little bit for Karns and let him take a deep breath. Talking about Nathan Karns, our Kubota Power Stats tonight. 121 strikeouts this year for Karns. That's the most among Major League rookies. He's allowed 2 or fewer runs in 16 of his 22 starts. That is impressive.
That's very impressive.
He's a very select company in the major leagues when you talk about people that have done that. Zach Greinke's in there, and Sonny Gray, Felix Hernandez, Chris Archer, his teammate, and Jacob deGrom, all in that select group. So 2 balls and no strikes the count to Prince Fielder. Fielder has been on a little bit of an RBI tear lately. He's up to 68. And that pitch outside. It is 3 balls and no strikes. That's a dead giveaway if they're not part of the family. They're certainly very close friends. The Karns group. Sounds like a law firm. Karns group.
That's nice.
3-0. And ball 4. That'll load him up for Adrian Beltre. Probably not the start that Nathan Karns had envisioned. And certainly not the start that Jim Hickey and Kevin Cash had envisioned for him.
This is definitely not the start they were looking for. It's not an easy thing to pitch in front of your family and friends for the very first time at the major league level. I know he's done it in college, but this is it. This is as high as you can go.
Yeah.
So to be out here throwing in front of him, this soon, this early in his career, can be kind of tough.
Well, here's Adrian Beltre, a 3-hit day yesterday, and he takes strike 1. Beltre now 263 with the average, 9 home runs and 30 driven in. And this isn't terribly unusual, though, for Nathan Karns not to have this much trouble, but he has given up 19 runs of the 51 that he's had in the first inning. Longoria will step on third across the diamond for the double play. DeShields in to score, but that is a very big 2-out play. Now the Rangers are out on top 1-0. No RBI for Beltre. But, well, you'd trade a double play for a run anytime in the first inning when you have the bases loaded and nobody out.
Yes, you will. You want to draw first blood. So if you get an opportunity to score in the first inning, you do that. You take advantage of it. You're up 1-0. You want to get on the board as quickly as possible.
Well, Longoria, one of the best in the business defensively.
You saw Longoria coming in after that ball, and he's looking at DeShields all the way. He was thinking about going to home, but realized that that's one of the fastest guys on the field right now.
Mitch Moreland cuts through a good fastball, and it is 0-1.
Take another look at this. You'll see DeShields getting off, going with the ball, and Longoria is watching him, thinking I might have a play, but that was going to be a tough throw, so he decided to make sure to get 2 outs and help his pitcher out a little bit.
Looked like Delino didn't really recognize the situation as the ball was hit.
No, he was a little slow getting the jump on it. You see the ball hit the ground, bases loaded, you just take off.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot you can do about it.
But Delino scored the first run, and Rangers have a 1-0 lead. Mitch Moreland, a huge day yesterday, a career day for him, 4 hits and 4 RBI. Had his 17th home run of the year. His RBI total now up to a career high 61. 0-2 pitch. Hit pretty well to left center field. Long run back for Kiermaier, but he stops just shy of the warning track and makes the catch. Now, Mitch got good wood on it, but comes up a little short. Rangers score a run, no hits, and 1 left. On to the second we go. Rangers 1, Rays 0. Just use hashtag Southwest Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in one of our upcoming broadcasts. All this made possible by the good folks at T-Mobile. We will show you tonight's selection a little bit later on in the ballgame. Now Martin Perez back out to there's a Strong Fan photo. Martin Perez back out there with a 1-0 lead to protect. He will face the middle third of the Tampa order. Logan Forsythe to start things off. And the first pitch from Martin is in for strike 1. Forsythe getting the start at first base. Right-handed hitter against the left-handed pitcher, James Loney, the longtime first baseman for the Rays. A left-handed hitter has been having a few problems against left-handed pitching. So Forsythe sliding over to take his spot tonight. 0-2 pitch. Forsythe, a .280 average, 13 home runs. That's tied for the high water mark on the ball club. He and Evan Longoria, both a baker's dozen worth of home runs. 1-2 from Perez. Pretty good pitch got in on it. Forsythe will ground out to Rougned Odor. Asdrubal Cabrera coming up. We're going to welcome in Jim Knox.
I appreciate it, Buzz. It is Foundation Friday, and recently some of the Texas Rangers players and coaches put on a special clinic sponsored by Ozarka. This is for the Rangers RBI kids, that is reviving baseball in the inner city, and they had a great time with special instruction, as well as they got some goodie bags and, of course, met some of the great Ranger players. To find out more about the Rangers RBI program, log on to texasrangers.com/foundation. Buzz?
All right, Knoxie, thank you. Martin Perez going to work against the hottest hitter on the planet. That would be Asdrubal Cabrera. Mac told you about the average since the first of the month, 480 mark. Since he's come back off the disabled list, Cabrera has just lit everybody up. This guy went on the DL for 15 days with a hamstring strain. And he has just been on fire since coming back.
He's raised his average 60 points since June. And when you start getting into June and July and you make that kind of movement with your batting average, you're doing some crushing.
Yep. In the air down the right side, it is slicing, and that'll be back and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Let's take a look while we have a chance at the Ranger defense delivered to you tonight by Break Jet. Seeing the infield pretty well tonight. The Rangers with 110 double plays turned this season. That's third most in the American League. And Odor and Andrews doing the majority of the work up the middle. Moreland and Beltre at the corners. The outfield, Hamilton, DeShields, and Chu. Bobby Wilson catching tonight. There's a base hit down the left field line by Asdrubal Cabrera. He stays hot. And before Hamilton can get over there and cut it off, Cabrera into second with a 1-out double. He's a switch hitter, and most of the time over the years he has been better from the left side. But it doesn't make much difference right now. He can hit on his standing on his head and get base hits.
It really doesn't. When a guy's this hot, you're really just hoping he gets himself out. Because if you make a mistake, or even sometimes a good pitch, the guy that's this hot is going to do something with it.
Well, Cabrera, talk about since his return back on July 28th, that is now his 8th double among everything else that he's had. And Desmond Jennings welcomed back into the lineup by the Tampa Bay Rays. Jennings coming back after having knee surgery, missed 3 months. As a matter of fact, he went on the disabled list right when the Rangers got into town down there in early May. Had to have surgery to clean out that knee, and he is just now getting back going. Throw gets away, and Cabrera is up, headed for third. He will be in standing. So a pickoff attempt, and looked like Cabrera was going to beat the throw back, but the throw skidded away from Rougned Odor.
See Perez fires it down. It's a catchable ball, but Odor missed it. You know, I've never really been a big fan of pickoffs at second base on a guy that's not a base stealer. If there's a guy that's a base stealer, he's getting a little bit too much, then yeah, I may put one on. But if he's not a guy who's going to go out and steal 20, 30, 40 bases a year, I'm not going to bother him. You know, most I'll do is just, you know, clap and let him know, hey, I'm there. I might put one on. But if you're not a base stealer, not really a need to do it.
Well, Cabrera now at third base, and the pitch is into Jennings. 2 balls and a strike. No, I agree with you on that, Mac. It's a risk you don't need to take most of the time. And now there might be 1 or 2 occasions over the course of a year where it might benefit you, but yeah, for the most part, guys don't get good enough leads that aren't going to try and steal a base.
Right. They don't.
Make it worth the while.
They get their comfortable lead, and they'll pitch a tent right there, and they stay there. There's an easier way to keep them close to the bag, so if there is a base hit, they may not score from second base, and you just make noise.
Yep.
These guys that aren't base stealers are typically uncomfortable on the bases, so anything out of the ordinary for them, they're like, hey, they want to get back to the bag or get closer to it.
Yeah. Don't want to be embarrassed by being picked up.
You're right.
2-2 pitch is inside. The count has gone full. Jennings has run the string out in this at bat. He's hitting 6th in the order. Tim Beckham, the second baseman, will follow. One out as Drupal Cabrera, the runner, at third base. Rangers have a 1-0 lead, but that in jeopardy here in the second inning. Payoff pitch on the way. He will reset and try it again. Now Jennings back in there. And when he came back, now the Rays have taken him out of the center field spot for the time being. Kevin Kiermaier, who has really gotten a reputation as one of the better outfielders around, playing center field. And Jennings lines one down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Cabrera will score. And after a big turn, Jennings hangs on at first. An RBI single, and we have a brand new ball game. It's tied at 1. Desmond Jennings driving in just his third run of the year. The Rays have come back immediately and tied this ball game.
Perez trying to go inside. It's actually a ball, but a pretty good spot. But Jennings got the bat head to it, kept it fair. Josh got a great jump. He was playing a little bit to pull, so he got over to the ball quickly. Made a nice strong throw and held Jennings to a single.
Tim Beckham takes the first pitch low and outside for ball 1. Beckham a .227 average. 5 home runs, 22 driven in. Beckham recalled from AAA back on July 12th. Since then, he's been a .263 hitter. And he's done very good work against left-handed pitching. He shoots that one foul outside the bag.
Take a look at Jennings coming around. He's thinking double, but Josh stops him. And look at this torque going there. Look at that dirt jump up there. That's a lot of torque there.
Test out that knee real fast. See if it's
did.
Really healthy. 2 balls and a strike now to Beckham. Well, Martin Perez, after retiring the first 4 hitters on ground balls and relatively simply, gave up a double to Cabrera. And there was an error on a pickoff play at second, followed by the RBI single by Jennings. And it's like it's gotten away from Martin a little bit. That double play ground ball to Elvis. Odor turns it, and that will do it. Well, as soon as I said that, Martin said, "Here, I'll show you." How about a 6-4-3, and that takes care of the Rays. A run on 2 hits, 1 error, nobody left. 1.5 gone by, 1-1 the score. In the bottom of the second inning. Great night out here. Star Wars night, Star Wars weekend at Globe Life Park. The Star Wars characters out making appearances on the concourse for the fans here at Globe Life. Here's Josh Hamilton. Josh missed the last 2 ball games in Minnesota. Had that left knee get kind of cranky on him. Went and had an MRI this afternoon and was pronounced fit to be back in the lineup. So here he is, batting at .252. Carnes hits the outside corner. A ball and a strike. Josh with 5 home runs, 19 RBI. He has shown signs lately of really starting to swing the bat well. That ball is hit well to right center field. Going back is Geyer. At the wall, goodbye.
What were you saying, Buzz?
Sitting ball good.
Showing signs? Is that a good sign?
That's a sign.
That's a good sign, yeah.
Hamilton with his 6th home run of the year. And just like that, the Rangers on top once again. It's not 2-1.
You know, just Josh being in the lineup makes this a much more potent offense. There's absolutely no substitute for power.
Yep.
Gets a pitch up in the zone. And that's why you don't want to throw it up in the zone. Guys, they tend to hit those a long way.
Yeah, and Josh hit that a long way, as a matter of fact. Looked like from the grip that was a changeup that Carnes was trying to get to Josh down in the strike zone, down and out of the strike zone. Never got there. Josh intercepted it with that big piece of lumber. The Jedi Master. Yeah, it's an old mind game that he worked on Nathan Carnes. One ball and 1 strike. Elvis takes inside. 2-1. Here's Elvis, the next Jedi Knight in the order. Oh, Jack Morgan's having a great time with this, isn't he?
He's having a blast.
He's got Yoda there, the Jedi Master himself, looking over the shoulder. A line drive foul. 2-2. There's Chuck. Notice the resemblance. I think they're related somewhere down the line.
Twins, maybe?
Well, I don't know about twins, but wasn't Yoda like 900 years old or something like that? Chuck's sneaking up on it.
A little younger than that.
Elvis just able to tap that curveball foul.
Look at this catch. Wow.
Nice going. Two and 2 to Elvis. As you saw, a .254 average for the Rangers shortstop. Couldn't check his swing. That's that wicked curveball from Carnes. 1 gone. Carnes with his first strikeout of the night.
You know, he's got that hard breaking curveball, and that's a hard pitch to lay off of, especially when you're down the count. You know, with 2 strikes on you, you see something coming hard, you're probably thinking it's probably going to be a fastball, and by the time you pick up that rotation, probably already swung and missed it.
Here's Odor. Does it similar, Mac, to a guy throwing a good changeup with good hand speed, where you're swinging at the speed of the hand?
I think the changeup is more difficult to hit than that hard curveball. You know, you're going on 2 planes with that curveball,
right? So
you can pick that up better, in my opinion, because that changeup is just it's coming out of his hand just like a fastball. And by the time you swing through it, you could probably swing through it twice before it gets to the plate, because it's, you know, anything that looks like a fastball, it's on the same plane, and then all of a sudden the bottom drops out of it.
Right. So you're not able to differentiate with the spin on the ball between a fastball and a changeup easily.
No, unless it's up. The further away from your eyes that changeup is, the better it is. That's why pitching down in the zone is where you want to be, because it's further away from a hitter's eyes. And when that pitcher gets the ball up, it's closer to your eyes and easier to hit.
Picked off by Forsythe, going to the backhand, and just able to step on the bag ahead of Rougned Odor. Nathan Carnes with the putout. Carnes kind of lost track of where he was in relation to the bag and had to make a last-second stab for it.
I'm not quite sure he realized that Odor was hustling all the way. Yeah, he was a little off there.
It's around here someplace.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of those plays you put on autopilot going over there. And if your navigation's a little bit off, you catch the ball and look down where the bag should be, and it's not there. And that's kind of a helpless feeling.
And that's that play pitchers work on every day pretty much in spring training.
Every single day. And not just a few times every day. Every day for hours, it seems like. Bobby Wilson tapping that pitch foul. It's no balls, 2 strikes. To this day, I could probably do that with my eyes closed and know where first base was.
I bet you could. I can remember the days of walking by the short field where pitchers are doing PFP, covering first, and I didn't have to be involved.
Wilson not able to check his swing. Another punch out for Nathan Carnes. So after the leadoff home run, Carnes gets the next 3. But Rangers regain the lead. Josh Hamilton, a long home run over the Ranger bullpen. A run on a hit. After 2 innings of play, the Rangers 2 and the Rays 1. .05 game. The force will be strong at Globe Life Park when the first 10,000 fans 14 and older receive one of 4 different Star Wars themed t-shirts courtesy of Tucky's. Allie is modeling that for us. Fans will also enjoy appearances from the Star Wars characters out on the concourse. Call 972 Rangers or visit TexasRangers.com to purchase your tickets. Kevin Kiermaier starting things off, and that might help the Rangers a little bit. Kiermaier uses his speed to great benefit, and that foul ball off his foot may slow him down a step or 2.
That does not feel good at all. That's gonna hurt him the rest of the night, probably tomorrow as well. That's why you see a lot of guys wearing, you know, the guards on their shins and they're across the top of their foot because they tend to swing at those. He's got that guard there. He's done it before.
He's got the guard. He better get his money back for that. Didn't protect him very well. Reaches out and pokes it up the middle. Tough play for Odor. The throw not in time. Kiermaier, add insult to injury, tumbles over the bag as he beats out that infield single. He landed on his left hip.
It's a pretty rough at bat for him.
Painful at bat for him, yeah.
But he's going to take it. He got a hit. You better believe he'll be all right. Getting down that line.
Oh, he tripped over Mitch's foot.
Yep. Oof.
Mitch might come a little lame too.
Yeah, that's a little scary. There have been some guys that, I've seen first basemen to get their foot up on top of the bag, and the runner will actually step on their ankle. That's extremely painful.
I bet it is.
Number one, the runner's going to go down, and having your foot or your ankle stepped on a guy with spikes on it.
Yeah,
that's not fun.
Say the shoe probably stays attached to your ankle. I mean,
yes.
One of those deals.
Yes.
Spikes come off in it. No, infield single. That's the third hit of the night for the Rays, and it brings up the number 9 hitter, Curt Casale, the catcher. Takes low and inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Casale, a .224 average. He has 8 home runs, and that's significant because 72 games last year, Casale had none. 14 runs driven in. Martin with the changeup.
Yeah, you look at Kiermaier when he was going to that last step. It wasn't really a step; it was a lunge, and a lot of players lunge at the bag, and that can cause a lot of injuries there with a groin or a knee or a twisted ankle, and then stepping on Mitch and then hit the dirt. See Kiermaier, he's off balance already, and then that left foot coming across. The ideal thing to do is hit that bag with your left foot. You don't have to worry about stepping on that first baseman's ankle or foot or anything. If you hit it with your left foot, then your right foot is to the outside of the bag. You don't have that issue.
Kiermaier actually lucky that he got away with as little injury as he did. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Casale. Lost control of the bat. Fortunately, it went on the ground back to the backstop.
That's a really weird feeling.
I bet it is.
You're swinging and you know you've got the bat in your hand. You've got that 2-pound piece of lumber, and all of a sudden it's gone. I never really did that very often. I would swing a lot and be sawed off and just have the end of the bat left in my hand.
Got real light real fast.
Yeah, real quick.
High and tight, and got him. Martin Perez trying to come inside. He did. Got right inside Casale's jersey. So 2 on with nobody out. Back to the top of the order.
Casale just couldn't get out of the way. Just had a finder on him.
Now the Ranger infield come in and gather around Martin Perez and make sure they have their signals down for what could be a sacrifice situation. Brandon Guyer, the leadoff man up there. Get another look at Martin Perez, a little frustrated with himself, letting that 1-2 pitch get away to the number 9 hitter. That's almost like walking a number 9 hitter, where you get ahead of him like that and then hit him with a pitch. That's a mistake as far as the pitcher's concerned. But first and second now, nobody out. Beltre and Moreland will play in at the corners. Brandon Guyer began things by grounding out to Adrian Beltre. No bunt on here, but it's a hit and run, and it's fouled off. So Kevin Cash doing something a little bit different. Trying something on the first pitch, putting both runners in motion.
Yeah, you don't typically see that. Runners first and second, nobody out. See Elvis break off a little bit. Kiermaier can run.
0-1 the count. Now 0-2. Actually, you know, in what you would expect to be a sacrifice situation, I think that's a pretty good play to put on, where you have the shortstop already out of position anyway. So you've got huge holes if you can put the ball in play to one. The Rangers now, though, with an 0-2 count, will go back to a more standardized defense. Step or so, as you saw, around to the left side for Geyer. Martin trying to work around some third inning trouble. 1-2. As you mentioned, Martin had a very quick and easy 11-pitch first inning, 3 groundouts. Then ran into some problems. Kind of lost command of the strike zone. Gave up a double and a single for the run in the second. And now a base hit and a hit batter here in the third. Another pickoff in second. That one almost got away from Rougned Odor. Play back in the second inning with Odor covering second on a pickoff with Cabrera back there. The official score ruled the error on the throw to Martin Perez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We'll try it again. Well, we talk a lot of times about when pitchers need to go for a strikeout, or when a strikeout's important. And on the obvious one, you get a man on third with less than 2 outs. You'd love to have a strikeout or a pop-up. This is just as critical to me in a close ball game. You get a guy at second and nobody out. You'd love for the ball not to be put in play, or be put in play in the air softly.
Right. If you're going to have it, if it's going to be put in play, you want a ground ball, but preferably a strikeout would be the best situation here, and then get a ground ball.
Yeah. Ground ball behind third. Beltre is going to turn it into 2. Across the diamond and got it. Nice play by Adrian. No hesitation. The veteran third sacker.
My goodness, he makes that play look so easy. That is not a hard thing to do, especially with a guy that can run like Geyer. He came in, got the ball, tagged third base, and threw the ball across the diamond on the run and got something on it. That's the tough part right there, the throw. Threw a strike over to Mitch at first. Another great play by Beltre that he made look easy.
Yeah, but Cash coming out. They're going to challenge it, and I think you might have seen on that last replay, Mitch's foot might have come off the contact of the bag at first.
Yeah, he reached for it. Doesn't look like he was able to stay on it.
The ruling on the field was out. The call on the field was out, but Kevin Cash immediately threw the challenge out there. Mark Carlson, the crew chief, will get the headsets on along with the first base umpire, Harry Cooper. And as you can see right there, looked like contact was broken with the bag and Mitch's left foot.
Mitch just wasn't tall enough.
Well, Cash got the word from his video crew upstairs who had looked at the replays. And they'll send it back to the replay command center in New York. Again, the call was out on the field, and there has to be clear and convincing evidence, clear and convincing video evidence for the official in New York to overturn this call. And if there is not clear and convincing evidence to overturn, the call will either be confirmed or stand. The Rangers hoping for either the confirmed or stand outcome. And the folks here at Globe Life Park getting a look at the big scoreboard atop the home run porch in right field. Chuck Morgan putting those replays up quickly, and a kind of a collective groan went up as the last replay showed Mitch's foot coming off the bag. And safe is the call, so it is overturned on review. It is not a double play. It will turn into a fielder's choice. Put out at third. So Kevin Kiermaier is retired, and now there are runners at first and second with 1 out.
It's about as far as Mitch could go and still be able to catch the ball. So tough loss on that double play.
Well, I guess you just need another one.
I like the sound of that.
Get another ground ball right here and have it at somebody when you turn a double play. Richie Schaefer, the DH. Grounded out to short, his first time. Ball gets away momentarily from Bobby Wilson, but not far enough to allow Casale to try for third. Schaefer now 4 for 13 in his brief appearance at the big league level. Made his major league debut back on the 1st of August. Towering pop-up. Beltre and Andrews back beyond the rim in the infield. Infield fly is called, and Elvis Andrews makes the catch. Well, there's your pop-up after a fielder's choice. And let's send it over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break.
Buzz, thanks very much. Yankees in Toronto.
All right, John, thank you. Are the Blue Jays ever going to lose again?
Lose? Do they even have a loss column now?
Not since the 1st of the month.
Wow, they're just entertaining the fans is what they're doing right now.
Apparently, Troy Tulowitzki is the best leadoff hitter ever in the game. And David Price has turned into, well, he's turned into David Price again.
I want to take a look at this pop fly. You see the umpire at third base, Mark Carlson, give the infield fly rule, and I know he's thinking that Adrian Beltre is catching that ball. So he might not have called that infield fly, knowing that Elvis was a little bit further away from the infield than he was, or than Beltre was. This is just hilarious to me. I love when they do this.
That should have been one of those conditional pop flies. If Beltre catches it, it's an infield fly. If Andrews catches it, it's not an infield fly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Get him really confused. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Evan Longoria. Line to left field. That is up the alley. It's headed for the wall. Around third, Kurt Casale will score. Right behind him, Brandon Geyer into second with a 2-run double. Is Evan Longoria, and he has turned the game around. It is 3-2 Tampa Bay. Longoria has absolutely crushed the ball with runners in scoring position since the All-Star break. He is now 8 for 11. And he gives the Tampa Bay Rays their first lead of the night.
Got a pitch out over the plate. And this guy knows exactly what to do with those. Drills it into left field. Drove in 2 more runs, put him up 3-2.
Bill Longoria now at second base. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Tampa Bay Rays. Logan Forsythe at the plate. Takes a big breaking ball for strike 1. Forsythe, a ground ball to second. His first time up there. 279 average. Forsythe among the Tampa Bay leaders. He is first in the RBI with 51, or he was, I should say, until Longoria just got his up to 52. Forsythe third in doubles with 21. 1 ball, 1 strike. A gorgeous night, though, here at Globe Life Park, and the Rangers had delightful weather when they were on the road. I know everybody here in Texas was sweltering for the most part, but appreciate you all turning off the heat for us to come back home. Slowly chopped to short. Elvis on to first. That'll do it. But horse is out of the barn. 2 runs on 2 hits and 1 left. After 2.5, it's now the Rays 3 and the Rangers 2. you buy your Texas Ford dealer. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer to kick off the summer right. Ford is the best in Texas. A back and forth affair here in the early going. Rays now with a 3-2 lead. Yeah, young man, kind of upset about it. The Ranger fan, diehard Ranger fan, he's kind of down in the mouth right now, but don't worry, young man, they'll come back. Delino to Shields starting things off. Rangers at the top of the order here in the third inning. The Shields, Chu, and Fielder. Delino scored the first Ranger run. He was hit by a pitch, swiped second, and came home on the Adrian Beltre double play. Nathan Carnes missing high and tight. 2 balls, no strikes. Heck, I guess we're always asked to rank and rate people and who was the biggest this or the best that. I think you'd have a hard time finding anybody that has been a more pleasant surprise than Delino DeShields in his contribution.
Oh, I think you're right. You know, he came in, you know, they weren't sure if he was going to make the ball club out of spring training. Made the ball club in the first month all through April. Didn't really get a whole lot of opportunity to get into ball games. And then all of a sudden May rolls around. He's getting some playing time, and then he's playing every day. And now in July, he takes over pretty much the everyday job in center field, and not just take over the job. He earned it. He played extremely well, stealing bases. He stole his 19th base tonight, playing some really good defense in the outfield, and doing exactly what he's supposed to do as a leadoff hitter. Second time on base. I don't think that the bat's moved off of his shoulder just yet.
Drew a walk there, 1 on, nobody out. Drew coming up. Send it over to Jim Nush.
I appreciate it, Buzz. Real quick, the Senior RBI World Series Championship game will be here at Globe Life Park tomorrow morning. One of the teams involved will be Miami Marlins. Today they got their way in the championship because Cleveland Westbrook pitched a great game, shutout 2-hitter, and you guys had quite a day today, Cleveland. Let's see, you had a parade, got to meet some of the players. What was that like?
It was a great experience to know that those players went through the same thing that we're going through today. And by them saying what they went through, you know, how they conquered adversity and what they did to make themselves better, you know, you have to take that in so you can, you know, better yourself to get to the next step of where they're at. Yeah,
you got to hear the luncheon, Chris Archer and Yvonne Gallardo. What was the message there?
Well, the message was to stay focused. You know, whether it's RBI or going to school, you got to be focused. You know, you can't be off track. You know, go to parties, do all of that. If you want to do baseball, you know, you got to keep your head in the books, and you got to work hard on the field because it's not easy.
That's a good message. Best of luck for you guys tomorrow. I know you can't pitch tomorrow, but that's all right. You'll run the bases, right?
Oh yes, sir.
There we go. All right. Good to see you. Appreciate it. Best of luck, Buzz.
All right, Noxie. Thank you. Well, don't you know they're a bunch of young men and women having a great time. There goes Delino, and he is in with his second stolen base of the night, but he came off the bag and was tagged out by Cabrera. He'd gotten in there safely. He'd beaten the throw, but Trip Gibson, the second base umpire, kept a very close eye on where Delino was, and as Cabrera kept the tag on, Gibson signaling that Delino had lost contact with the bag momentarily.
Delino got a great jump. Second bag on the night. See his hand on there. Foot comes on. Slides up a little bit. And it looks like the shortstop pushed his foot off a little. Gave a little bit of help.
A little help putting it off.
Cabrera's a veteran shortstop. He knows how to do it gently.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough when the dirt here dries out a little bit. You can slide a little bit extra there.
Now 3 balls and no strikes to Chu with the bases empty. Shinsu has seen 1 strike in his 2 at-bats. Delino DeShields a little dejected going back to the Ranger bench, not happy about losing contact with the bag. That'll get you talking to yourself, won't it?
It will. It might even get you talking to the umpires.
Is there an art to encouraging somebody's foot to get off the bag?
There's absolutely an art. And I think we just saw it.
Yeah. Payoff pitch, called strike 3. Chu whips around as if to argue with Gabe Morales. He couldn't believe it. But Morales sticking to his guns, and Nathan Carnes has his 3rd strikeout.
Fastball down in the zone. Nice job.
That's the strike that hitters do not like. Never have liked, never will like probably, but we've seen that called more this year than I can ever remember. That ball just touching the bottom of the strike zone. I think umpires are making an effort, especially with this, what we use the Fox tracker, that Quest Tech grading their performances. They're calling that low strike more frequently.
Yeah, I think they are as well. And there's another one right there. But I think a lot of it has to do with how the catcher catches that ball. And that helps the pitcher out and gives the umpire a different angle from it if you catch it a certain way. There are certain ways that you can turn your glove that will let the umpire know if it's a ball or a strike. See him slide in here. There's the gentle nudge to knock him off the side of the bag there. His toe was on top of it. And Cabrera just kind of nudged him. Now, if you just push it, that's going to be one thing.
Little tapper right down to the bag, and Forsythe catches the ball, steps on first, and that'll do it. Well, it looks like a promising start. Goes for naught. Rangers 3 up and 3 down at the end. After 3, 3-2 Tampa Bay. Be treated to a medical center Arlington Adrian Beltre bobblehead. Come on out and help us watch the Rangers take on the Rays. Get your collectible bobblehead. Visit TexasRangers.com or call 972 Rangers for your tickets. Martin Perez back out for the 4th inning as Drew Cabrera starting things off, and he's going to be out finally. Hitting right at 500 since the beginning of the month, and Adrian Beltre takes care of that for out number 1. Cabrera had doubled and scored in the 2nd inning.
Left fielder Desmond Jennings.
Next will be Desmond Jennings. Jennings drove in his 3rd run of the year with an RBI single, brought home Cabrera from 3rd base. Time called momentarily, and I'm not really sure why, to be quite honest. Perez back to work, and misses high and outside. Desmond played a total of 9 rehab games after he was deemed ready to get things back underway. Played at AAA Durham and also Class A Charlotte hit a combined .214 in those games. Takes a strike here. 1-1.
You know, you mentioned earlier, Kiermaier's played a pretty good center field. Desmond Jennings is typically a center fielder. But I think since Kiermaier has played pretty well out there, can cover a lot of ground, and Jennings coming back from that knee injury, probably want to give him a little bit of a break from center field. He's played 10, he's had 10 starts in left and 7 in center on the year. So he can play both corner spots as well. So he's a good outfielder.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Kevin Kiermaier.
Looks like he's recovered from that last at bat.
Little tapper slowly out to second. Odor charging, has trouble getting the handle, and makes a strong sidearm flip. Nice play by Urugdet on a tough play.
Second baseman again on the backup.
Yeah, this is a tough play for a second baseman coming in. You've got. Well, typically you have one chance, but he caught it. You know, couldn't get it out of his glove cleanly. Was able to recover and still had some time. A lot of times you'll see that second baseman or shortstop, even a third baseman, come in and field that ball with 2 hands off of their left foot. So the very next step, they're coming up and throwing. That's a pretty difficult play.
Here's Tim Beckham, and he wraps one by Beltre into left field for a single. Boy, Beckham didn't wait long. He grounded into a double play his first time, and the first pitch he saw this time at bat results in a 2-out single.
Not sure if Beltre had a play on this, but his reaction was kind of, you know, maybe he lost. Yeah, he lost that ball. He either lost it or got there a lot faster than he expected.
One of the two.
He didn't have a glove on that right hand.
Kevin Kiermaier had that infield single last time up. That was in the 3rd inning. Slow chopper that Mitch Morgan will take care of. He steps on first. That will do it. So the Rays get a hit and score, or Strander runner, I should say, and after 3.5. Score remains the Rays 3, the Rangers 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. The first 7,500 kids 13 and under with back-to-school backpacks. Come on out to Globe Life Park. Watch the Rangers play the Mariners and get your kids geared up for school. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS. School just about ready to start. A week from Monday. Classes back in session. Those two look like they might have a year or so left before they head off to college. Now here's Adrian Beltre to start off the Ranger 4th inning. Adrian takes that curve that drops in for strike 1. Beltre grounded into a double play back in the first, but that resulted in a run. It was a bases loaded, no out situation. Adrian did not get the RBI, but Delino DeShields scored the first run of the ball game. Now Carnes wants a new baseball to work with. Nice crowd on hand here tonight. Chuck Morgan orchestrating a big post-game fireworks show. It says the Star Wars music tonight. Adrian doing the full turn on that swing. Every once in a while still, Adrian looks like that hand is still not 100%, left thumb.
Yeah, I think, certain swings, certain pitches, in certain areas, it definitely hurts more than others.
And he lines one to center field. That's going to fall for a base hit in front of Kiermaier. Beltre, a big turn, will hang on. He swings through one and looks as if he's not going to be able to play anymore. Bashes the next one into center. And speaking of Star Wars, how about tonight's Coors Light Cold Hard Fact? Star Wars holds the Guinness World Record for most successful film merchandising franchise. The total value of Star Wars franchise estimated at $30.7 billion. That's with a B. Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. And Yoda gets his cut of it. Now, the Stormtroopers don't. They don't get anything. They shouldn't. They're the bad guys. It's Moreland a check swing for strike one.
I think we're ready for him, Buzz.
Think so?
Yeah, we've got our sabers. We're good.
Yep. I had to reacquaint myself with the lightsaber technique. It had been several years since my kids and I dueled with those.
A lot of fun times.
Oh, yeah. Moreland 0 for 1 tonight. Pitch with the average currently at 294. I mentioned yesterday a career high for him. 4 hits and 4 RBI in that ball game. His 17th home run. Takes that pitch on the inside corner. Carnes busting it inside for the strike. 1-2. Mitch has hits in 8 of his first 11 games in the month of August. He's hit at a 375 clip. Talk to you about the 61 RBI. That's his high water mark now for his career. 60 his previous total. Pulled that one out of play down the right side. And we'll come back and try another 1-2 pitch. Take a look at our Ford leaderboard. We've been talking about the Rangers and tonight the Rays too. Since the All-Star break, Rangers continue to lead the American League with that 282 team average. Not far behind Tampa Bay at 262. They are 4th in the American League. Rays maybe more of a surprise after suffering through a dismal July. They have turned things around. Rangers started to get hot back in May. Cooled off a little bit in June, but they have turned it around pretty well too. Carnes with a 1-2 pitch to the right side. The second they get the sliding, Adrian Beltre. Nice play by Tim Beckham, who was way over toward first. He threw that ball when he was about 15 feet in fair territory on the right side.
He did. He threw a strike, and Adrian Beltre, you watch Belly, he knows that there's a chance that Beckham is going to come to him, so he kind of bows out a little bit to try and block the path of that throw. But Beckham got it up high enough. You see Beltre, he's looking to his right, he sees Beckham field the ball, and you see him bow out a little bit, and Beckham threw it in a perfect spot. Nice play by the young second baseman.
Now Josh Hamilton going after that first pitch with a vengeance, fouls it back. Hamilton launched his 6th home run of the year as he led off the second inning tonight. Blast went to the very back of the Ranger bullpen in deepest right center field. So Josh now with 20 RBI, batting average of 257. Moreland the lead from first. Hamilton rifles one to center. But right there, Kevin Kiermaier to make the catch. Well, that was another bullet off Hamilton's bat. Comes up empty on this one. There are 2 gone.
Sure did sound good coming off of that bat. Thought it might have had a chance to get over Kiermaier's head out in center field. Josh on it, focus. You see his eyes, the head stays right down on it. And rips it.
Hamilton, you remember, was the first pick in the nation by the Tampa Bay Rays back in 1999, and never did get an opportunity to play at the big league level for him, but he has tried to show them what they have missed all these years. Here's Elvis, who went down swinging first time he's at the plate. Ball in the dirt. Casale able to keep it close to home plate to prevent Moreland from advancing. Elvis stinging the ball maybe as well as we've seen him in his career. He is hitting line drives with authority. Did the entire trip and has for the better part of a month. Even though he only had 4 hits on the road trip, went 4 for 22, he hit a lot of line drives that were caught.
He did. I don't remember him hitting the ball this hard, this consistently for this long. I mean, it's been, we're working on a month now. He's just been stinging the ball everywhere.
1-0 pitch. That will even the count. And Elvis hitting the ball well here, too. You look at his average the last 28 games, up comfortably over 300. Here at home in his last 26 games, a 313 average. 2 balls and a strike. Elvis in his career has always hit well against Tampa Bay. His career average just a couple of clicks over 300. That's his 3rd highest that he has against any opponent. 2-1 pitch from Carnes. Now 2-2. Infield plays Elvis a couple of steps around to the left. The outfield shading him in slightly opposite fashion. Kiermaier in center and over 4 or 5 steps toward right center. Moreland at first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Full count. So now Mitch will get the advantage of getting a running start. Elvis trying to continue this inning. If he gets aboard, Rougned Odor will get a shot at Carnes here in the 4th inning.
This may help Mitch score on this double to the gap that Elvis is about to hit. Getting that running start with the count being full and 2 outs.
There goes Mitch. Payoff pitch is high. Ball 4. Must have heard you. Carnes not going to throw him as pitch and get hit there.
We'll try and help him out a little bit.
Carnes issuing his 4th walk. He's put runners now at first and second, and Rougned Odor will step to the plate. Odor grounded out to first, his first time up. Rougned, you'll remember, had a 9-game hitting streak, his career best. Had that snapped 3 games ago, and since then he has failed to get a hit. He's 0 for his last 8. Moreland at second. Andrus at first. Rangers trail by 1 here in the 4th inning. 1 ball, no strikes. Rougned a 333 average. That's best on the Ranger ball club since the All-Star break. 24 games in that span. He has driven in 15, so it's been a very productive 24 games. Hard hit, but Forsythe plays it on the glove side for the out, and that'll do it for the Rangers. They get a hit, a walk, and strand 2 runners. After 4, Rays 3, Rangers 2. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Mazda. In every car we make, you'll see why driving matters. Now the Rays coming to bat here in the top of the 5th inning. Tampa Bay leading the Rangers by a 3-2 count. They have out-hit Texas 5-2. Kurt Casale, the catcher, starting things off, fouls off that first pitch. Casale hit by a pitch and scored the second of the 3 Tampa Bay runs tonight. That was back in the 3rd inning. Chopper behind the bag. It's a foul ball. Adrian ready to trigger that throw across if the ball had been deemed fair, but it was not.
That ball, that's a tough call. I guess it was foul. You know, a lot of people get it mixed up that it has to hit on the fair side of the line. It doesn't. The ball just has to go over the bag. So it can go over the bag and still land in foul territory and be called a fair ball.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Casale, we talked about his power that he has exhibited. 7 of his last 10 hits have left the ballpark. And he takes that one high to even the count. Casale batting 9th. Martin Perez trying to regroup. To the right side. Nice play by Moreland. Perez covering for out number 1. And let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Buzz. Hey, this was the scene before the game. The Fox Sports Fan Express coming in from the great town of Tyler, Texas. How about the Rose City? On hand, East Texas, ESPN East Texas. Kenny, talk about the ride down. You guys, big-time Ranger fans, having the time of your life tonight?
Well, Eddie does the great thing is he brings us here safe. He has a good time on the bus, pretty laid back.
Eddie, the bus driver, good driver.
He's been doing it for an awful long time. Everybody's been very happy to be here. We had a wonderful ride, and it's obviously great accommodations here, man.
Good seeing you. I know you got some birthdays celebrating. First-timers right here, having a nice time. Good to have everybody from Tyler, Texas. Enjoy the rest of the game. All right, guys. Thanks.
Foxy, thank you. Folks from Tyler having a great time out there. Rangers see if they can't give him a win here tonight. Brandon Guyer up for his 3rd at-bat of the evening. Guyer 0 for 2 officially, but he did reach on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Came around to score. A little tardy with that swing as Martin added a little octane upstairs. Martin Perez getting ready for his 69th pitch of the night. It's on the way and in for strike 2. Martin, Bobby Wilson trying to get together on signs. Bobby says, hey, let me run through those again for you.
And typically when a pitcher steps off or doesn't go, start his motion, what is it that the catcher's done that makes the pitcher do that?
Well, the catcher's going for 2. A good throw will get him. The slide, he is safe at second base. And Elvis immediately pointing to the dugout, feeling that Brandon Guyer had been tagged out, and Jeff Bannister up out of the dugout saying, okay, hang on a second now. We're going to have Joey Probinski check out the replays upstairs. And here's what he's going to look at. A tight shot right down there at the bag, and yep,
he was in it.
Believe he was. So the challenge has been issued. You get another angle from it from our center field camera.
Look at that.
Tag applied to the foot while the foot was still in the air, and I think the Rangers are going to win this challenge. Oh, Jeff Bannister going out there and making sure they held up play. Headsets put on the crew chief Mark Carlson and Trick Gibson, the second base umpire who made the call. They are in contact now with Replay Command Center back in New York. And again, the ruling on the field was safe. Jeff Bannister challenging that ruling. And they'll look at all the video evidence in New York, come up with a determination of whether there is clear and convincing evidence to overturn this call. And I'd have to say, based on that there probably is.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, how about those slow motion cameras we've got now, the different angles that we've got? That just really breaks it down.
Well, it slows it down for you, clarifies the picture, the shot of the tight shot of the tag getting made, and the call is overturned. So out at second base, and Steve Buechele, who relayed the information to Jeff Bannister. Yeah, they got the call right out there. No, it goes down as a single for Geyer, and he is shot down 9-6.
Look at that. They almost got the tag down right in front of the bag and waited, and that's how you apply the tag. You put the glove in front of the base. You'll see a lot of infielders. Try and tag the runner. Shoe gets over to that ball, throws a strike, one hopper, right there. Almost got the tag right in front of the base because the runner has to touch the base. So if you put the glove there, he's got to touch the glove first.
Unless he can split himself in half and go around it. No, you're right. And you see so many tags. I think Mac guys trying to slap a tag down there.
Right.
Slap it down and up, and all of a sudden the guy comes off the bag or doesn't get there in time. It's a problem. 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed. And Richie Schaefer gone on strike. So Martin Perez gets his first strikeout of the night. Rays get a hit, but nobody left. Halfway through the ball game, Tampa Bay leading 3-2.
Of 3-2, and this obviously a very big home series for the Texas Rangers, hoping to build on some momentum from their last homestand.
But coming into this home series, that it's winning, especially on the road, last game coming into a home series, it builds some confidence, and that win was very important. We could be in a different position right now. It's one game, but it can determine a lot of things.
So the confidence that they built in that last home stand, going 7-3 and winning 7 of their last 8, coupled with that come from behind victory yesterday in Minnesota, the guys hoping that is the start of something good and a roll that they could go on, guys.
All right, Emily, good stuff. Yeah, thank you. That's extremely important. You get down now under 50 games to play. And all of a sudden, things get magnified. You should look at it the way you do the rest of the season, but you can't. You don't have that much time left. Bobby Wilson caught looking, and he has gone on strikes for the second time tonight. One away, and Delino Shields coming up. And before Delino steps in, let's send it back over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break. All right, John, thank you. Delino looks at that breaking ball that all of a sudden Nathan Karn's able to spot up a little bit. He has thrown some very good ones the last inning plus. Delino with no official at bat tonight. He has walked and been hit by a pitch. No official at bat, but he's doing his job, Mac, as you mentioned, getting on base.
Getting on base and getting into scoring position rather quickly. Although last time he kind of slid past second base and was called out. But I believe if he gets on again, he'll go again. And Karns isn't a guy that really holds runners well. That was the 16th stolen base out of 18 attempts against him.
Karns with a 1-2 pitch. You're talking about Delino getting on base, and the walk he got last time up, that was his 9th in the last 15 ball games. And we've talked about not really playing much until the second month of the season. He's 3rd on the Ranger club in total walks this year. He has 36. Chopper wide at 3rd that Longoria handles. 2 gone. Longoria silky smooth down there at the hot corner.
And he knew he had to get rid of that ball rather quickly. Typically he takes a little bit more time. He's got a guy that can move like the Shields. Longoria knows he's a Gold Glove third baseman, one of the best in the game. Go to his left, gets it, turns real quickly, turns around, makes a good throw.
No, 2 away. Here's Shin-Soo Choo, who has walked and struck out. Karns able to start him off with a curveball for strike 1.
And Karns is getting that curveball under control. That's the 4th time in the last 2 innings he's led off with a curveball for a strike.
And that makes him a totally different pitcher, I would think, Mac, from a hitter standpoint. He's able to drop that in there for strike 1.
You're right, Buzz, because as a hitter, you're in the hole. Now you're defensive. You're 0-1. You know he's got that curveball that that's working tonight. So you don't want to go up there and swing at it first pitch unless it's a hanger. But it definitely puts you in a defensive position.
I always thought as a pitcher, anytime I could get ahead with something other than one of my 2 best pitches or my best pitch, that put me further ahead in the game.
It really does, because now you know, okay, this guy's got a really good fastball, a really good sinker or something. If he's throwing his 2nd or 3rd pitch for a strike that first pitch, it's going to be a rough at bat.
Yeah. Now Choo able to eyeball a couple. It's 3 balls and a strike. Choo trying to get aboard with 2 outs here in the 5th. Prince Fielder checking out that bat in the on-deck circle. High and outside, ball 4. Choo walks for the 2nd time tonight. That is the 5th walk issued by Nathan Karns. And Kevin Cash out of the dugout. Nathan Karns not going to be really thrilled with this. Had a chance to get through 5 innings, and he is removed after a 2-out walk to Shin-Soo Choo. Well, Kevin Cash not wasting any time, goes out with the hook. Karns is finished. Will not have an opportunity to get the W tonight if the Tampa Bay Rays hang on. A pitching change underway here at Globe Life Park with the Rays leading the Rangers 3-2. We'll be back right after this timeout. throwback giveaway. The first 15,000 fans ages 14 and older will get a Giovanni Gallardo powder blue t-shirt thanks to Dr. Pepper, Albertsons, and Tom Thumb. Visit TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS for your tickets. Kevin Cash going to the bullpen, and Nathan Carnes out after 81 pitches and 4 2/3 innings. Xavier Cedeno, 28-year-old left-hander from Puerto Rico, is on now. Cedeno came over from the Los Angeles Dodgers in April of this year, a cash transaction. Cedeno is 47th game as he appears here tonight. He'll be facing Prince Fielder with 1 on and 2 out. Cash not, despite it being the 5th inning, not going to let Nathan Carnes face Prince Fielder as the go-ahead run.
Yeah, you hate to see a guy come out in that situation there, especially with just 1 out with the lead in order to get it. But Kevin Cash's first priority is to win the ball game. It doesn't matter what what a pitcher's record is, or he's close to this or that or the other. His #1 objective is to win the ball game.
Reds chops that down foul. It's 0-2. And I would imagine from Nathan Carnes' standpoint, even though it's kind of a bitter pill to swallow in front of your hometown, your family and friends, you'll learn next time out that you don't want to walk a guy in a close ball game in the 5th inning with 2 outs.
Or 5 guys in 5 innings.
Or 5 guys in 5 innings. Part of that growing up process that most of the time isn't a whole lot of fun. Fielder a drive to dead center field. Kiermaier back at the track. He leaps up and pulls it back into the ballpark. Kiermaier brings back a Prince Fielder home run to save 2 runs and get the Rays out of the 5th inning. What a play by Kevin Kiermaier. Defensive magic by the Rays center fielder. That close. 3-2 Tampa Bay after 5. Because of this smash off the bat of Prince Fielder and a great play by Kevin Kiermaier.
Kiermaier went back, timed his catch. You see him put that right arm out. He knows where the wall is. He gets up, gets that glove over it, pulls it back in. That's a heartbreaker.
Boy.
See a different angle here. You can see that ball was going to be out of the ballpark for sure.
Sure was. You won't see many catches better than that. Well, Evan Longoria starting things off for the Rays here in the 6th inning. Longoria 1 out of 2 tonight. And a 2-run double. That's the difference in the ball game at this point, or the difference at least offensively in the ball game. Defensively, Kevin Kiermaier saved 2 runs with that catch. Longoria 278. RBI total now up to 52. Check swing, he went around. Full count. Longoria trying to get aboard for the Rays to start the 6th. Logan Forsythe, the cleanup hitter, he is in the on-deck circle. Slow tapper that Martin gloves. That is out number 1. And let's check back in with Jim Knox.
All right, look who we have here, Buzz. Star Wars night here at Globe Life Park. It goes on through tomorrow. And first, 10,000 kids, 14 and up, get a free T-shirt. What are you looking at, Darth Vader? Everything okay tonight?
That's none of your business.
Oh, okay. A little smack talk. All right, guys, good guys. Let's take this guy out, huh? Okay, take over, guys. There we go. Star Wars going on until tomorrow night, Buzz. Fans, come on out and see these guys.
Nice going, Knox. You know when to get out of there.
Smart move. Those were the Sabres that I like right there.
Yeah.
Lights.
Logan Forsythe twice has grounded out tonight, once to second and once to short. Breaking ball is a little bit low. 1-1. Now a ball and 2 strikes. Well, it looks like Martin's gotten it back together after the rough spot in the 2nd and the 3rd. Martin has given up a couple of hits, but a lot of ground balls, 1 strikeout in the last couple of innings. The rest have been on ground balls. That misses just a bit high, and it's 2-2. Martin to the wind. Elvis from the hole. Right on target. 2 gone.
Nice job by Martin keeping the ball down in the zone and getting ground ball after ground ball. That's what you like to see. You keep that ball out of the air. It's probably going to be a good night for you.
Yeah, he's only had 1 out in the air tonight. That was a pop out by Richie Schaefer back in the 3rd inning. Pop out to Elvis. Everything else has been either a strikeout or a ground out. Something along those lines. A 2 gone as Drupal Cabrera hit a double his first time up, grounded out his last time up. Cabrera, the switch hitter, batting from the right side. This year, Cabrera, a 278 average coming in against left-handed pitching, 253 against right-handers. But he has 6 of his 7 home runs against right-handed pitching. He leads all American League shortstops this year with 35 extra base hits. Lines this one to left. Hamilton coming on, but plays it on a hop. It looked like Josh might have lost that for a moment in the lights, and by the time he picked it out, it was too late. Josh kind of stared up there as if somebody blinded him momentarily.
Cabrera gets a pitch and hits a low line drive. Whenever you see line drives hit to the corner spots, the left fielder or right fielder, it has a really good chance of going in the lights. And it's a tough ball to stay on and catch.
Desmond Jennings takes a strike on the inside corner. Jennings 1 for 2 in his return to Major League action. And an RBI single back in the 2nd inning. Perez to the plate. Chopper into center field. That's a base hit. Cabrera stops at second. So back-to-back 2-out singles. Runners at first and second. Tim Beckham coming up. And before he comes to the plate, Mike Maddox is going to make a visit to the mound. Well, the Rays, 8 base hits tonight. Keone Kellett loosening in that Ranger bullpen. Mike Maddox talking to his battery of Bobby Wilson and Martin Perez. Well, we have a moment here. I'd like to remind you that most Sundays feature kids promotions this year at Globe Life Park. On Sunday, August 30th, the first 7,500 kids 13 and under will receive a Shin-Soo Choo blue batting helmet. That's courtesy of Dairy Queen. Head on over to TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS to get your tickets for that August 30th date with the Baltimore Orioles. Kids out here on this great Friday night at Globe Life Park. No conference concluded. Martin Perez now back to the top of the hill. Tim Beckham, who is singled and grounded into a double play, will come to the plate. Beckham, with his base hit in the 4th inning, snapped an 0 for 9 streak that he was in. Season average at .231. 1 ball, no strikes. This Tampa Bay team, they are 2 games over 500, but you look at the offensive statistics and you wonder, how in the world are they doing that? They're 9th in on-base percentage at .309. 13th in batting average at .244. These are all numbers coming into the game. They're 14th in runs scored at .427. You say, how in the world are they making those stand up? Well, their pitching is 3rd in the league at .358. That pretty well explains that.
That takes care of it.
And Tampa Bay has a history of especially with their ballpark, pitching extremely well and not scoring a lot of runs and making those runs stand up when they do score.
Well, it starts on that mound. You know that, Buzz. It starts with the pitching staff. They find guys. They have young guys that step up. Chris Archer has been around for a couple of years. He's probably their best pitcher right now. David Price is gone. Has been gone for a minute. Saw a little bit of Nathan Carnes tonight. What kind of stuff he has. He's still a young pitcher, a rookie pitcher, just trying to find his rhythm. And I think once he does, that pitching staff's going to be even better.
And the walk to Tim Beckham loads the bases. And Kevin Kiermaier will come to the plate. The base is full of Rays. All this has happened after 2 were out. 2 singles and a walk. And that walk issued by Martin Perez, his first of the night. Now Elvis in to say something to both Martin and to Bobby Wilson. Kiermaier has had an infield single and is tapped out to first. Martin will get a chance to face Kiermaier here with the bases full in the 6th inning. And with his pitch count up to 93, this will probably be Martin Perez's last hitter no matter what happens. Way inside for ball 1. Kiermaier, a .247 average. Get a look from our RF camera right over the top of the Ranger dugout. Bases full of Rays. And the breaking ball finds the mark. Good idea there when you're having trouble spotting up the fastball. See if you can throw a breaking ball for a strike, get your release point back. Exactly what Bobby Wilson had Martin Perez do. The 1-1 pitch coming. That's in the dirt. 2-1. Martin with 59 strikes, 37 balls tonight. And that pitch nibbles on the outside corner. 2-2. Kiermaier shaking his head, and maybe he looked at the Fox tracks too.
I think he saw it or realized that even if I wanted to swing, I wasn't really going to hit that.
Cabrera, Jennings, and Beckham, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st for the Rays. Now Bobby Wilson going to go out and see exactly what Martin Perez has in mind for a critical 2-2 pitch. There's Cabrera, who started this with 2 outs. singling to left field. Jennings followed with a single to center, and then the walk to Tim Beckham, low to the bases. Martin Perez set at the belt. The 2-2 pitch. We'll reset and do it again after that foul ball. Well, a big game for both ball clubs here tonight. Rays come in playing as well as they have in the last couple of months at least. Kevin Cash's team vying for that wild card along with the Rangers. Tampa Bay opening play tonight, 2 games behind the Los Angeles Angels for that second wild card spot. Rangers 3.5 back. Poke to third, Beltre has it. Across the diamond, and Moreland makes the catch. That will do it. A nice job by Martin Perez to leave the bases full on a couple of hits and a walk. After 5.5, it's the Rays 3 and the Rangers 2. Tonight's jackpot is worth $1,000 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, Siegfried Fritz from Grand Prairie will win $1,000. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam during the inning, Siegfried's going to win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Siegfried, you got the guys coming up that can get the slam done for you. Adrian Beltre to start things off against Xavier Cedeno. The first pitch to Adrian is in for strike 1. Beltre kind of a wry smile as he looked back to Gabe Morales, the home plate umpire, and said, yeah, you know you missed that. Fox tracker said no, he didn't. 0-1 to Adrian. 0-2.
Cedeno's been pretty rough on left-handers. Lefties are hitting 221 off of him. The right-handers are 213 off of him. Right-handers are hitting 291 with 3 home runs.
And that pitch looked like it got a piece of everybody, with the exception of Beltre. Bounced in the dirt, got away from Casale, or hit him on the arm, then got Gabe Morales, the umpire. Adrian's looking back like, what are you guys wrong, you guys? From a pitcher standpoint, that's not a real good way to set up the next pitch that you want to have it on the corner and get the call.
No, you don't want to hit the umpire. It doesn't help their cause.
No. 1-2 pitch. Not him swinging. Cedeno going down and away, and Beltre strikes out. 1 gone. Mitch Moreland now coming up. Cedeno throws a cutter and a pretty good breaking ball. That looked like the cutter that was backdoored. Adrian, recognizing that pitch, was probably going to come back to the strike zone on the outside part and tried to fend it off. Here's Minshew, is 0 for 2. There's the curveball. Moreland, a fly ball to center. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th inning. No balls and 2 strikes. You can see, I guess, why Cedeno's so tough on left-handed batters. Sam Dyson, by the way, in the Ranger bullpen.
Only giving up 2 extra base hits to left-hand hitters all year long. Both of them have been doubles.
Now, he almost broke into the home run column. Prince Fielder, that down at first base. And the little flip on to Cedeno. Moreland, he had the bat, the ball, and Forsythe, the first baseman, all arriving at the same point at almost the same time. Forsythe, he's getting rid of one of them. He's getting rid of the ball and getting out of town.
That's that feeling I was talking about there, Buzz. Although he hit it off the end of the bat.
Mitch didn't have a whole lot left in his hands to work with there, did he?
No, he did not. I do not know how Forsythe did not be affected or get affected by that bat.
Josh Hamilton swinging a miss at the curveball. I'm saying Cedeno almost broke into it with a home run to the first hitter he faced. Prince Fielder tonight. Had it not been for Kevin Kiermaier, Fielder would have added to that extra base hit total with the first home run against him. Forsythe, a nice backhand, and dropped the ball off the glove of Cedeno, who was going to catch the ball and look at first base instead, and the ball eluded him. And Hamilton is aboard on the air.
Well, there's a break.
The shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
For a pitcher trying to go over to cover first and doing 2 things at one time, you can't multitask.
3 things at one time, trying to catch the ball with 2 hands while you're running. That's difficult to do. And then you had to reach back behind you. Took his eye off the ball. And that's going to be an error.
Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, going to go out and make sure there's no carryover effect from that last play. Be an error charged to Xavier Cedeno on that play, or for the lack of the play. Well, that allows Hamilton to get on base. Elvis now come to the plate representing the go-ahead run in this ball game. Rangers trailing 3-2. Elvis has struck out and walked tonight. First pitch, that's that cut fastball that Cedeno pretty good command of to the outside part to a right-hander. Elvis didn't think so, but Gabe Morales did, and he's the one that's making that determination. 0-1 pitch coming. Elvis now just 1 for 10 since the home run he had on Tuesday in Minnesota. 5 home runs, the most he's had in a year since 2011, when he also had 5. Career high was set in 2009 when he had 6. Down on the count here, and a ball and 2 strikes.
Kiermaier's being tough. Off-speed pitches to Elvis first pitch. It's that cut fastball, then a curveball there. Tough pitches to hit, especially down in the zone.
Yeah, and he's wearing out the bottom of that strike zone too. Cedeno ready, a check of first. And Elvis skies one to right field. Toward the line, Geyer, and makes the catch. That'll do it. Well, the Rangers get a base runner on an error, but strand one. We have finished 6 at Globe Life Park. It remains the Rays 3 and the Rangers 2. Hamilton got the Rangers out in front again with his 6th home run of the year, a blast over the Ranger bullpen. That was in the 2nd. But then the Tampa Bay Rays came back in the next inning. And with 2 on, Evan Longoria plugs the gap in left center field, a 2-run double to make it a 3-2 Rays lead. And that is exactly where we stand as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Nice crowd on hand here tonight. They are rooting for a Ranger comeback. And Martin Perez night has come to an end. Martin finished after 6 innings of work. 3 runs to his ledger on 8 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. And Sam Dyson will be the new pitcher. Dyson, the sinker ball specialist, and he has as good a sinker as you're going to see, a heavy 97-mile-an-hour sinker. And he's a little bit off velocity-wise right now, not quite loose. But Curt Casale, the catcher, said, I don't care if he's loose or not. That thing had some downward movement to it. Casale hit by a pitch tonight. He's also grounded out. Lines one to right. That's headed for the corner. Chu can't cut it off. Casale into second base with a leadoff double. So maybe the approach for Curt Casale, taking the ball the other way, got him in good stead because he hit that ball solidly.
Dyson trying to go down and away again at same spot, same pitch. Casale got the head out to it, didn't try to pull it, went with it. Drove it down into the corner for a leadoff double. Chu trying to get there, but that ball just hit the grass and just scooted to the wall.
Well, Kevin Cash now going to the bench, and he has come up with a veteran left-handed hitter in Grady Sizemore. Sizemore signed by the Rays. Grady has been out the better part of 4 years now. He has had all kinds of knee problems, back problems, trying to battle his way back. A 247 average for Sizemore. They have felt with Jennings out for 3 months that Sizemore, pretty good replacement. The throw to third, and they get him down there.
Nice play, Mitch.
Now Kevin Cash is going to come out. The ball came out now. According to third base umpire Mark Carlson, he was in the middle of making that call of out and didn't see the ball pop out until after he was through. And then he's explaining it now to Adrian Beltre. I saw the ball pop out, but I was in the middle of my call. and couldn't get the safe sign down in time. Now Jeff Bannister is going to come out for an explanation as well. But what a throw by Mitch.
Great play by Mitch. Got the out at first base. He's got a really strong arm. Fires it across the diamond at Beltre. Beltre gets it, puts the tag on it, slides off. Ball pops out on the tag, the second tag, but I think Beltre gets him right there.
Casale looking up at Mark Carlson kind of plaintively. Yeah, it kind of looked like he did tag him. He was sliding by.
If he got him on the first tag, then that's an out.
Yeah, Jeff Bannister out there talking to Mark Carlson while Steve Buechele is on the phone waiting for some information from Joey Probinski. Pretty tough to tell from that angle whether the tag was applied, but the challenge has been issued. The Rangers, who successfully challenged a play a couple of innings ago, now trying it again. Once you, of course, you are successful in a challenge, you don't lose that challenge. You retain it, and the Rangers making use of that. They're going to challenge this play at third base. The call by Mark Carlson. He is the crew chief, so he will get under headset along with Eric Cooper, the first base umpire. They will get in touch with the replay command center back in New York, who will review all of the video evidence that is available. They will make the determination and let us know as quickly as possible. This is the third review of the night. We've had one overturned and one call that stood.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because it looks like he tagged him on the shoulder, and that's the tag. So whatever happens after that, he held the ball long enough. There's the tag before his hand hits the bag.
Sure looked like it.
And that's it. So it doesn't matter that he went and tagged him again, and then the ball came out. There's the tag. Hand doesn't hit the bag. See, right there on the back of the shoulder.
Yeah, and you put that together with the other angle, you can see where the hand is when that tag is applied. It was not to the bag yet. So you should be able to overturn that call. Fans here in the Globe Life Park seeing everything you're seeing up on the big scoreboard. Chuck Morgan does a great job of getting it up there quickly and utilizing all the angles so the fans here are kept informed as well as possible.
It's going to be an interesting call. See how this goes. Because when you slow it down in super slow-mo like we're able to do now, you know, the amount of time that you have the ball, it seems like 5 or 6 seconds when that slow motion camera's going, but that's not really how it goes.
Yeah, and you know the phrase that they use, the clear and convincing evidence, sometimes overrules what would appear at first glance to be a positive one. There's the tag being applied as the slide by Casale takes him by the bag. And you put those two together like that, and it looked like the tag was applied before that left hand ever contacted the bag. But again, we're not making the decision here. They're doing that back in New York. It's fairly easy for us. You get one more angle you can put into your data bank.
I'm going to make the call, Buzz. He's out.
Okay. You're going to call him out. Okay.
Double play. He's out.
That's good enough for me.
Do we have that hotline in New York? Do we have that number?
I think that's an unlisted number. I don't think they're giving that out. You have every manager in baseball calling on that thing. Now this one taking a while, and you can understand why. The time it takes to put 2 or 3 angles together and then sync them up. There's the tag, and the hand, as far as we can tell, had not come in contact with the bag yet. And it looks like we are going to get a decision momentarily.
There we go. They heard me.
On the back end of that, Well, it does turn into a double play. A nice job by Mitch Moreland and Adrian Beltre. And the explanation passed on to Kevin Cash over there in the Rays dugout.
There's the tag. Hand's not there yet.
Now technology working to get the correct call. Even though it took a little longer than you would like, that was a complicated play. So the bases are empty now. 2 outs. And Richie Schaefer is the hitter. Schaefer 0 for 3. And Sam Dyson tuning that up to 96. Had the bottom fall out of it. Strike 1.
That's not fair as a hitter. That's just really not. Especially to a right-hand hitter.
Yeah. And Sam loves to throw that pitch down and into right-handers and see if he can hit him right on top of the foot as they're swinging at it.
That's the best spot for it.
That's that little cutter / slider that he'll throw every once in a while. In fact, that was the pitch that he lamented in his first game here with the Rangers against San Francisco. The Hunter Pence home run against him on that pitch that stayed up. 0-2 the count. Last time we saw Sam Dyson, he got his second hold as a Ranger. That was on Tuesday night up in Minneapolis. 4th to 3rd of an inning. Got him swinging. Pretty nasty stuff there from Sam Dyson. No runs a hit. The double play took care of that. We'll take the 7th inning stretch with the Rays leading 3-2. And now please join Chuck Morgan as he introduces God Bless America.
Your attention please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the world. The Texas Rangers invite everyone in Globe Life Park to join in singing God Bless America.
let's take a look at tonight's T-Mobile fan photo selection. For every ball game, we select one. This tonight's comes to us from Nellie. Nellie, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Great picture. And for you folks that would like to send your photos in, use hashtag Southwest Data StrongFan, and your photo might be selected to be aired during one of our upcoming broadcasts. Again, this all made possible by the good folks at T-Mobile. Well, the Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Steve Geltz, right-hander, a stockily built right-hander, on now to take over for the Tampa Bay Rays. He'll face Rougned Odor, Bobby Wilson, and Delino DeShields. And Geltz in with strike number 1. Geltz, an excellent split-fingered pitch to go along with a pretty good fastball and slider. Often used. This is 56th appearance of the year. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rougned tonight 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs. Geltz at 5'10", 210 pounds. Misses high and tight. 2-1. In the on-deck circle, that would be the newest Ranger in Mike Napoli. First opportunity to come back here to Arlington as a member again of the Rangers. And Odor lofts a fly ball to fairly deep center. Kiermaier, an opportunity to make the catch. That is out number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please for the Rangers, number 25, Mike Napoli.
The inimitable Chuck Morgan and the introduction of Mike Napoli. I'd love to see Nap get hot down the stretch and get that Napoli chant going.
That would be good. I think they're about ready to give him a standing ovation. I love it.
There it goes. Yep. Folks getting into it. And Nap tuning it up. He was trying to hit that one over to Grand Prairie. Napoli joining the Rangers on this just completed road trip. Came over from Boston. 204 average. There it is.
There it goes. That's got to make him feel good.
Well, the couple of years he had here in Arlington, they are not going to forget that. Ranger fans will hold him in their highest esteem. 2 balls and a strike. Nap acquired from the Red Sox, either a player to be named later or cash considerations. Joined the club on Saturday in Seattle. The 2-1 pitch. Popped up. Way up there. And Forsythe, the first baseman, coming over right at the railing and has to backpedal to make the catch. We're out number 2. Oh, Napoli hits a towering pop out. 2 gone. And before Delino DeShields steps in, let's send it over to John Radigan, who has a Mazda game break for us. How about that? Thank you, John. And Toronto back into 2nd place in the AL East. Yankees regain a half-game lead over the Blue Jays. Delino 0 for 1 officially tonight. He has been on base twice, hit by a pitch and walked. Geltz missing the outside corner. Delino in his only official at bat, grounded out to 3rd. That's inside. 2-1. Geltz made his major league debut with the Angels back in 2012. Just in 2 ball games. Came over to Tampa Bay last year. Right before the 2014 season. Now he's fallen behind Delino DeShields. Now 3 balls and a strike. So Delino trying to get aboard here with 2 outs. He'll be followed by Shin-Soo Choo.
will be a good guy to get on base right now in this situation. Chu with some power coming up behind it.
That ball is hammered to left field. Down the line, and it's fair. It's gone. Goodbye. First major league home run for Delino DeShields, and the game is tied.
Wow, look at that. And that big one at the perfect time. There's that smile. Let's look at this reception he gets in the dugout.
A moonshot from Delino DeShields, his first major league four-bagger. And this ball game is back to dead even. It is 3-3.
Talking about Chu with the power. And DeShields, wow, got a fastball up and in.
There's that splitter from Geltz, and it's 0-2 to Chu.
Pretty unfamiliar to him right there.
I was going to say, considering he hadn't hit a home run before in the major leagues, he looked like he knew what he was doing.
He did, didn't he?
Chu down on strikes, that'll do it. But Delino DeShields, his first career home run, ties this ball game. We'll move on to the 8th inning. It's now the Rangers 3 and the Rays 3.
Progressive fan of the game, and did we find a great one? This is Lieutenant Colonel Richard Cole, and he is part of the Doolittle Raiders. The Doolittle Raiders, there was 80 of them, and they actually bombed Japan after the attack on Pearl Harbor. They attacked Japan after the attack on Pearl Harbor. And, well, congratulations, Progressive fan of the game. And they tell me only 80 attacked Japan out there, and only 2 living ones of the Doolittle Raiders, and you're one of the living ones, of course. Next month you turn 100 years old. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Here's the bag. Anything you like to say, Lieutenant Colonel?
Well, I'm just happy to be here and talk to these young people and maybe give them a little inspiration to do whatever they think they want to do.
There we go. Well, congratulations. Appreciate it. Happy early birthday. Buzz?
All right, Noxie, thank you. Well, Noxie was talking to the gentleman. The nice play by Elvis Andrews for out number 1.
Elvis going over deep in the hole, gets to it, drops it, but picks it up and pulls that rifle out. Shows how strong that arm is going across the diamond there. I don't think he can get much closer than that.
big play right there.
Elvis trying to explain it to Adrian. I'm sure he's going to have to explain it further later on, like in Kangaroo Court. Oh, one out. Here's Logan Forsythe. And Sam Dyson pouring in that heavy sinker for strike one. Forsythe 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts tonight. Rangers with only 3 hits this evening, but 2 of them have left the ballpark. Forsythe going after that little cutter or slider. 1-2. 0-2, excuse me. Rangers with just 3 hits, the Rays with 9. But we are deadlocked at 3 here in the 8th inning. Didn't miss by much. 1-2.
It's a nice try there. A little comebacker. Just missed the outside corner.
Bobby Wilson suggesting they try that again. Or excuse me, it's Chris Jimenez, isn't it?
That is Jimenez
yep.
back there.
But Jimenez behind the plate, and remember Bobby Wilson was pinch hit for by Mike Napoli. Dyson ready to work. Another 1-2 pitch.
Trying to stay away, down and away from Forsythe. He's got some power. So late in the ball game, tie ball game, you don't want to come inside unless you're coming inside for effect. If somebody's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, they're going to have to hit it out the opposite way.
And Forsythe, one of the guys that you have to be careful with. He has some pop in the middle of that order. Two balls and 2 strikes. Dyson back to the plate, and it's 3-2 now. So Forsythe trying to get aboard with 1 out here in the 8th inning as Drupal Cabrera, hot hitting shortstop, is in the on deck circle. Forsythe, despite 0 for 3 tonight, has gotten on base at about a 38% clip since the All-Star break. Got him swinging here. Good heavy sinker. That is strikeout number 2 for Sam Dyson. 2 gone.
Nice job of pitching. Stayed down, didn't give in, stayed away. Nice sinker, ran back over the middle of the plate, but down and under Forsythe's bat. That's a really good pitch.
Yes, it is.
Really good sinker.
Yes, it is. You don't see many guys able to lift that unless, like we were talking about, unless like your Casale to take the ball the other way, then you have a chance to, hit a line drive. But pretty tough to lift that ball with authority by trying to pull it. To the backstop goes that first sinker. Cabrera tonight has singled and doubled in 3 trips, continuing to smoke the baseball. As Drupal turning around to hit from the left side. An average now to 263. Rangers going to an overshift defensively. To right field, that is going to fall for a base hit. Cabrera en fuego is an understatement. 3 for 4 tonight. Right-handed, left-handed, pull, hit the ball the other way, it doesn't matter. He is finding holes.
It's incredible for a switch hitter. It was always a tough thing for me as a switch hitter to get a multi-hit game, hit from either side, because you get so used to being on one side that night, then all of a sudden you switch to the other side. So Cabrera is doing what he's doing right now is just phenomenal.
When you were getting ready for a game, batting practice for a ball game, would you only take at bats from one side of the plate, or would you do both?
No, I would do both, but I would take the majority of my swings from whatever side of the plate I was going to start on that night. If it was a right-hander, I'd take, we typically hit 4, maybe 5 rounds. 3 or 4 of those rounds would be from the left side, but I always had to hit on that other side, depending on what was in the bullpen. There were times when teams didn't have a left-hander in the bullpen, so then I probably wouldn't take swings from right-handed. But I didn't want to go too many days of doing that, because you better believe that next series, they were loaded up with lefties. They're always right-handers, so I never took a day off from the left side.
Desmond Jennings with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Jennings in his return to the lineup is 2 for 3. Pair of singles and an RBI. Got Cabrera at first. Hits one up the middle, and that is into center field. So both Cabrera and Jennings with 3 hit nights. And again, they're doing some 2-out magic here. Last time in the 6th inning, they put together 2-out base hits. They've done the same thing here.
Dyson right down the middle of the plate. And Jennings takes it right back up the middle. That's what you got to do, or take it the other way if you can. Once you start trying to pull that sinker, not going to be very good. But Jennings took it right back up the middle.
Well, Jennings aboard, and now Tim Beckham will come up. Beckham 1 out of 2 tonight. Jake Diekman, the left-hander, ready if needed in that Ranger bullpen. You've got a left-handed hitting Kevin Kiermaier to follow Beckham. At first, you got Beckham at the plate, who has walked and singled, also grounded into a double play. 2 on, 2 out. Strike 1. Beckham's single came in the 4th inning. The walk in the 6th. Season average at .231. Has some pop, though. 5 home runs. Nothing and 2. The Rays with runners in scoring position this year, just a .234 average. Tonight, 2 out of 7. Got the go-ahead run in second base with Asdrubal Cabrera. 0-2 the count as Dyson comes back. Ball, strike 3. He turned Tim Beckham into a statue. And that'll do it. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left after 7.5. Tied at 3.
Welcome you back to Globe Life Park. This is the opener of a 3-game series between the Rays and the Rangers, which means Game 2 will take place tomorrow night here at the Globe. It's a 7 o'clock first pitch once again. There you see the pitching principals in this one, Chris Archer and Colby Lewis. Colby looks to continue his good stuff against the Rays, that 4-1 record with a 3.49 average. Things get going at 7 o'clock here on Fox Sports Southwest. Our thanks to the folks at AT&T Uverse for getting us ready for Game 2, guys.
All right, and thank you very much. Well, there's the 36-year-old right-hander. He'll work here tomorrow night. Rangers come to bat now in the bottom of the 8th inning. And they will face the veteran left-hander Jake McGee. McGee, a 29-year-old out of San Jose, California. 35th game of the year. A strike on the outside corner to Prince Fielder. Fielder, last time up, was robbed by Kevin Kiermaier in center field. He faced Xavier Cedeno and hit a rocket out there just to the left of the 404 mark. Kiermaier went up over the barrier to make the catch and bring it back in. Kiermaier out there in center. Now facing a very hard throwing Jake McGee. McGee, you pretty much get what you see, and that is a mid to upper 90s fastball. An occasional breaking ball, and once in every other blue moon or so. Out of play to the left. Still 0-2. McGee signed out of high school. He grew up in the Reno, Nevada area. He was a 5th round pick of the Rays back in 2004. Made his major league debut in 2010. There's the breaking ball one time, and Prince not able to handle that. Out number 1.
Third baseman, Adrian Beltre.
Well, speaking of Prince, let's go back. Our AT&T Uverse Rewind will take you back to the 5th inning. Kevin Kiermaier, grand larceny against Prince Fielder. Adrian Beltre now having to skip rope to get out of the way of that Jake McGee fastball. Beltre 1 for 3 tonight. Adrian currently hitting at 264. He had a rip at that McGee pitch. Adrian 0 for 5 in previous matchups against McGee. See Adrian with that protection taped onto the handle of the bat, protecting that left thumb. Still where he tore those ligaments in that thumb. The 1-1 pitch. Looked like the backswing might have gotten Kurt Casale. Moving around like he just got swatted with the backswing of Adrian's bat.
It's rough being a catcher. Foul balls off of your face mask. Ooh, got him on. Ooh. Wow.
Left wrist.
No protection there.
I don't think that sweatband there is going to do much good protecting it from that. And Adrian again fouling off a fastball away.
I don't think I could have done that. As a matter of fact, let me think again. I know I could not have done that. That is not a position I ever wanted to mess with.
Yeah, at this level where you're expected to shake things like that off.
No, we're going to get an X-ray right now.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Adrian able to lay off that check swing. Well, you played with Pudge, and watching him, take shot after shot and show up the next day and still be the same guy.
That's what's really one of the things that's amazing about Pudge. I mean, you look at all the beating that he took for 21 years behind the plate. He wasn't that catcher that caught for 10 or 12 years and moved to first base.
Yeah.
He was behind the plate. If he was in the game, he was behind the plate. But to take a beating like that and then still put up the numbers he did, incredible.
Yep, I agree with you. Well, Adrian Beltre, a very good at bat against Jake McGee. He worked and worked and worked, and finally came away with a base hit to center field. So the Rangers have the go-ahead run aboard with 1 out for Mitch Moreland. Now our TXU power player, our TXU energy power player, we are tied at 3 because of this. The liner to Shields, his first major league home run in the 7th inning off of Steve Geltz. The liner to Shields, our TXU energy power player. Now Beltre aboard. Here's Mitch, who is 0 for 3.
Beltre amazes me every day, especially playing through the thumb issue right now. He'll take a swing and look like his hand just fell off. Next thing you know, a rocket base hit somewhere.
Yeah.
That's a crafty veteran hitter for you.
McGee gets undressed by that line drive. Beltre is going to continue to third. Here comes the throw. Not in time. And into second, Mitch Moreland. Some aggressive base running on both ends of that. Beltre going to third as he saw that Kiermaier was playing deep. He put his head down and charged headlong into third base, and Moreland a heads-up job of taking second on the throw.
Great aggressive base running. Beltre knew as soon as that ball was hit up the middle, he was going to third base. He watched it all the way, didn't need the third base coach, Tony Beasley, to help him or let him know to keep going. Beltre's watching it all the way. You see him digging, and he's going. And Mitch Moreland did a great job of not becoming a spectator, once that ball was thrown or came off of his bat. He continued on to second base, and look at Beltre. Watching Jennings the entire way, and he just said, I'm going, you're going to have to throw me out. Now, we might need a little bit of oxygen, but hey, it's okay. We've got that.
So now runners at second and third with 1 out. Josh Hamilton with the infield pulled all the way in. Takes ball 1. And as hard as Hamilton has hit the ball tonight, I'm not sure I want to be playing him.
No, that's probably not a good idea. He's been waiting for his pitch, getting it up in the zone, and hitting some bullets.
Check swing on the pitch on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hamilton homered in the second. Line to center in the 4th. Reached on an error in the 6th inning. 1 for 3 tonight. Hitting at .254. Runners at second and third and 1 out. Popped up toward the seats. Longoria runs out of room as that ball ends up in the 3rd row. Hamilton with life, but the count is 1-2. Take you back to the 2nd inning. Josh Hamilton against Nathan Carnes, and he got a high changeup that left the ballpark supersonic. Came down on the 1st row out there over the Ranger bullpen. Well, right now he's got Beltre at third, Moreland at second. 1 ball, 2 strikes facing Jake McGee. To center field. Way back to Kiermaier. That is going to get the job done. The catch is made. Beltre tags and scores. Moreland to third. The Rangers lead it 4-3 as Josh Hamilton blisters a line drive to the warning track in center field for the sacrifice fly. Boy, and a short, quick stroke by Hamilton. He got a pitch up to handle.
Great at bat by Josh. Had a tough pitch for strike 1. Going through a 2nd strike and got a pitch up in the zone, fastball up in the zone, McGee tried to throw it by him high, and Josh just whipped it. Got on top of it, hit it deep to center field to drive in the go-ahead run. Great at bat by Josh.
Now Elvis back up the middle. That's an RBI single as Marlins score. Elvis another rope. 5-3.
Another great at bat. Elvis anticipating McGee was going to try and get ahead of him, probably with a fastball. And Elvis was ready and waiting on it. Drilled it right back up the middle. This is good aggressive hitting. It's 2 at bats, 2 base hits right back up the middle that probably shook McGee up a little bit.
McGee better check his uniform, make sure there's not a bullseye painted on it somewhere. So Elvis with another rocket, and the Rangers with a 2-run inning, and that's going to do it for Jake McGee. With Rougned Odor coming up, Kevin Cash is going to the bullpen. So a pitching change underway. The Rangers have regained the lead. It is 5-3 here in the 8th inning. We'll take a timeout. We're back after this. Mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Brandon Gomes, right-hander, has come into the ball game to take over. Rangers with 2 runs across have taken a 5-3 lead here in the 8th inning. Rougned Odor at the plate with Elvis Andrus at first. Odor 0 for 3 tonight. And Gomes has Elvis picked cleanly at first base. In the rundown, and Ray's making a few too many throws. And they finally tag Elvis out. I think Elvis ran out of gas. So Elvis picked off to end the inning, but the Rangers get 2 runs on 3 hits. And no one left. It's tally time at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Rangers by a pair as we head to the 9th inning.
now have a 5-3 lead. It is tally time at Globe Life Park in Arlington. John Radigan here on the set of Rangers Live in the Captain Morgan Club. I've got Pudge Rodriguez sitting right next door here. We are getting ready to bring you a complete, there he is, look at that. Peace to you too, Pudge. A complete post-game wrap-up comes your way. Emily will be in there in the clubhouse and get the interviews with the players and the manager. We will also have Jim Knox and fireworks, lots of Star Wars. It's all coming up. It's immediately following the game, guys. It's Rangers Live.
All right, John, thank you. Well, Rangers for the second straight day coming back from a deficit to take the lead, and for the second straight day, Sean Tollison on to try and close out a Ranger victory. Tollison, his 51st appearance of the year, picked up his 21st save in 22 opportunities yesterday in Minneapolis. Worked a very quick and easy 1-2-3 inning. He will face Kevin Kiermaier to start things off. It'll be Kiermaier, Casale, and then back to the top of the order, Grady Sizemore. Off speed and in for a strike. It is 1-1. Kiermaier 1 for 3 tonight. Had an infield single in the third inning. Tollison to the plate. Pop up around home plate. Jimenez gets rid of the mask, makes the catch for out number 1. Tollison, the quick pop up for out number 1.
It's a very big out. Get that first out of the inning. Takes a little bit of pressure off. There's still pressure out there, but definitely want to get that first out.
And a pinch hitter now for Kurt Casale. It's going to be John Jaso. Veteran left-handed hitter. Jaso coming on as a pinch hitter here in the ninth inning to face Sean Tollison. First ball swinging, diving, but by Rougned Odor into right center field, a base hit. So Jaso up there looking for something on the first pitch that he could drive, and he did. Hit the ball sharply on the ground and got it by Odor for a single. And that puts the tying run now at home plate in the person of Grady Sizemore.
Tolly going on the outside part of the plate. Got just a little bit too much of it. Jaso drives it back up the middle.
So Jaso aboard. Grady Sizemore grounded into what turned out to be a double play as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. He was batting with Casale at second base and nobody out. Hit a ground ball to Mitch Moreland, but hit it fairly hard. Mitch made the play, stepped on first very quickly and fired to third. And initially, Casale was ruled safe, but on appeal, that call was overturned. And Sizemore rips the ball to Odor and turns in to a double play, and that is a winner. A 4-3 double play on the line drive from Sizemore. And the Rangers have made it 5 straight here at home. And 8 out of 9 as they defeat the Tampa Bay Rays and gain ground in the wild card race.
That get much better than that. Nice quick double play, line drive, flip it over to first base. Game over. A win.
Well, the Rangers, after a very nice 4-run comeback yesterday in Minnesota, gave them some momentum coming in here tonight. And they were able to take it to the Rays after falling behind 3-2. And here's that last out, Mac.
Sizemore gets the ball, rips it, pulls it right at Odor. And Jaso's off just a little bit too far. That's all it takes. Nice quick double play. 4 or 5 pitches.
Right about there, John Jaso saying, where'd they park the bus?
Oh, no, he was looking for a giant rock to fire it.
Yeah,
get under a little bit there.
Oh, so Sean Tollison, his 22nd save of the year at 23 opportunities. Rangers win it 5-3.